What's good? My name is Korie La Té, and this is another episode of the Habit of Fitness podcast. So welcome. Thank you for taking your time to spend your time with me. Today's episode is called Exercising Out of the Comfort Zone. So you can already tell we're going to be hitting some deeper topics, analyzing some deeper questions about ourselves and how it relates to our performance. So the main question we're going to be analyzing is, are you willing to do the things you do not want to do today in order to be the kind of person that you want to be in the future? Oftentimes, how we're feeling right now does not necessarily add up to what we want to be accomplishing in the future. In the now, we want to take the easy route, the path of least resistance, and be comfortable. But it's about getting outside that comfort zone that can eventually make us better in the long term. So we're going to be kind of reviewing why this is and what this means for us and how we can change if we so desire to. So what is the difference between someone who is consistent and someone who is not? Is it just their drive? Is it their discipline? Is it their passion? Their overall confidence? It can be an accumulation of these various different ideas or topics. But I argue that the main thing is choice. Deciding to go against the grain will create a different response, a different action, a different level of execution. And I feel like that's the main difference. So in reference to social psychology, we have the ABCs of psychology. And the A stands for affect, which simply means feelings. The B is for behaviors. And C is for cognitions, which simply means thoughts. So for our references, I would just be saying feelings, behaviors, and thoughts. And what I'm trying to talk about in reference to this is you can have certain thoughts and feelings that are going to lead you to a certain behavior. And as your behaviors consistently change, so do your thoughts and your feelings. I'm not going to say they happen in a particular order, but typically how we're thinking and how we're feeling about something is going to affect the actual action we take. And as we may change our actions regarding a certain task, or maybe it can be work, or it can be fitness, of course, our thoughts and our feelings about our future actions are going to change. So how does this relate to people who are consistent with what they do and people who are not consistent? What are the different thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that are going into these different lifestyles? And I proposed the idea that it's what you do when you don't want to keep going or when you don't want to do something that puts you above average. And average is simply saying, in this instance, going the path of least resistance, which is what we naturally want to do. So we have these quotes by Muhammad Ali, and the first one says, "I don't count my sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting because they are the only ones that count." This is a bit extreme version of the concept that I'm trying to get across. However, it's just mainly saying that when you really start to feel something, when you really start to feel more resistance, feel a change, then that's when real progress is occurring. It's not entirely accurate in a fitness standpoint, but we're not going to get into that right now. You don't need to be hurting in order to be improving. He also has another quote, and I'm just going to say the beginning of it because I'm not exactly sure the context of it, but he says, "I hated every minute of training, but I said I don't quit." And I'm just trying to get at the idea that people who are consistent and are not consistent can have a similar mindset of, I don't want to be here. I don't necessarily enjoy what I'm doing. The general feeling about it can feel the same. Thoughts and behaviors in this sense can be different. Behaviors in the sense that one person is working out consistently, one person is not. And the thought about the feeling is also a key thing that's different. When your mindset is, I want to be the greatest there is at what I do, your thoughts about the same thing are going to impact your actual behaviors, while your feelings can still be the same. Me and someone else, someone who is fairly consistent with working out, and someone else can equally think, I really despise having to do this right now. I don't have a good feeling about this. But if you've been doing something for so long, your thoughts can be, I still recognize that this is going to be beneficial for me, and I'm going to let that overpower my actual feelings about it, which are going to change my behavior. So let's do a scenario real quick. So say you've made a commitment later in the day. Say you decided to work out later in the day. But, however, you have been having a bad day. The world has been against you. Your plans keep getting changed. Your boss was tripping. Your boyfriend or your girlfriend was tripping. And it's just been a bad day. And you don't want to do this workout later in the day. Guess what? You will be completely justified in not doing that workout. You will be completely justified in how you're feeling. Justified to not continue and choose the path of least resistance. And I also propose you another thing. You deserve it. If you've had a hard day, you deserve some rest. Plain and simple. Plain and straight facts. I think one problem is people don't validate their feelings enough. They don't think that they deserve rest. And rest is not necessarily something that you should have to work up to. Like, if you've had a bad day, you deserve to take a break. But I also propose that what you deserve more is progress. What your body deserves more is progress. What your future self deserves more is progress in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So while you may deserve rest, you also deserve progress more. And you are the only person that can make that choice. This choice happens between encountering a certain stimulus and actually responding. So you encounter these setbacks, you have choice, and then you have the response. And between undergoing this simulation and producing a behavior, you have the choice to produce the behavior. This is a decision that no one else can make except you. Like I said earlier, people can have the same thoughts, the same feelings, but still produce a different behavior because of this choice. And when you get so used to making the decision to choose the choice of progress, you tell yourself two things. You tell yourself what is more important, and you also reinforce the kind of person that you're saying that you want to be, that you're saying that you want your future self to be. And across the board, you really can't get mad at yourself for putting in work on yourself, but you can get mad at yourself for not starting something today. So like I mentioned in a previous podcast, when you can tell yourself that I'm going to look forward to having to make this choice, to overcoming that barrier, to overcoming these feelings, I'm going to change my mindset, I'm going to produce a different behavior. This is when the true change is occurring for you to be able to apply this to different realms, which I'm going to kind of talk about right now. So let's apply this to a couple different things. So say like the idea of procrastination, whether this be in the realm of academics or it can even be in your own creative work. You will have a certain feeling about your work that amateurs and professionals can also have, like a very similar feeling. Even people who are great at what they do tend to think that they're still not good enough, unfortunately. But your thought about that, if your thought is, I'm not good enough, so I'm not going to start, or I'm not going to put that much effort into it, versus I don't feel that it's good enough, but I'm going to continuously try and push past that so that it can be good enough, those simple different thoughts are going to influence the behaviors that we have. And it's about getting in the habit that when you feel uneasy about something, you're still going to take that higher road because it's going to be better and more beneficial for you in the future. So let's also take like the social situation. Say your boss is tripping. Say your mom is tripping. I don't know why I keep bringing up your boss, but your boss is tripping. Your mom is tripping. And you can feel completely justified on the feelings and the thoughts that you're having if someone is doing something to put you down or to not, acknowledge what you're doing. It's harder to make that choice above their action. And I'm not even talking about empathy right now, which is like thinking about how they're feeling and, maybe I should think a certain way. No, without even thinking about them, I'm talking about making the choice to think about the situation, despite all your other justified thoughts and deserving thoughts. And by doing something against the grain, you force yourself to think about it from a different perspective, even though you don't want to, even though you would be justified in not doing so. Like this simple choice and moment where you're changing your mindset, even if you don't actually change your behaviors, is going to increase the potency of your mentality, which will influence your behaviors later. So say like you're arguing with someone and you're just choosing to think about it differently without even responding, without even actually producing an action. It's going to train a part of your brain to make a different choice later in the future. So yeah, that's my rant for the day. I have absolutely no idea if that made sense. I was kind of trying something new with planning this out, different method of storytelling and application. I'm probably going to have to listen to this to see if that actually made sense. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Just to reiterate, the questions for the day were, are you willing to do the things you do not want to do today to be the person that you want to be in the future? And what you do at the times that you really don't want to do something is what defines you. That's the lowest system. If your lowest system is saying, I don't want to do this, but I'm still going to, even if it isn't with full effort, you are telling yourself that I make choices that are going to benefit my future, whether I want to or not. And that is powerful. So yes, I thank you for joining. Thank you for taking your time to spend your time with me. My name is Korie La Té. This is the Habit of Fitness podcast, and I'm out.